Alright everybody, as you can see I've got 8 videos here and it is CSPD violating our rights. So the first couple videos are part 1 of our phone call with Officer Bornschein, badge, what is it? Rename, hold on. 7596, there we go, right? So in here, this is a 30 plus minute phone call. It's like 32 or 36 minutes, I forget, where she just violated our rights severely, right? And then over here we have further calls where I'm trying to speak with dispatch, and dispatch is telling me that I need to go and speak with a duty sergeant, blah 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 blah, right? So again, just like I explained to everybody, I've done my due diligence. We tried to call and ask for help, right? We were denied. Okay, Shannon Snuggs wants to go and say that no crime was committed, that there's no issue whatsoever. So first and foremost, let's go read the oath that you guys took. One sec, hold on. All right, because I did a video on this quite literally the other day. We go over here to the Colorado Springs codes of ordinances, okay? And we come over here specifically to where it says, hold on one sec, I gotta find it. Oh man, I forgot, it's in 8.1. Okay, so it's way down here, right? But you go to chapter 8, public safety, then you go to article 1, police department, it's part 2, officers of the department. Now see, this is where you messed up, because this is your oath. This is something that everybody has to take, but we're going to discuss that, okay? Because I already covered that in a video, but you didn't look at any of the stuff, right? So the chief of police has to do their duties, and then everybody, including the chief of police, right here, you specifically, Commander Shannon Snuggs, right, are included in this. So, persons employed by the police department as peace officers shall exercise law enforcement authority as given to peace officers by the laws of the state of Colorado. Persons employed by the police department, hold on, I lost my space real quick. One sec. There we go. I'll zoom out like this and I'll read it like that. Okay, so persons employed by the police department as peace officers shall have the authority to enforce all ordinances and laws, whether federal, state, or local. So again, all laws, whether federal, state, or local. So again, when you want to go and tell me that you don't have to do your job, no, that's a lie. The jurisdiction of any peace officer employed by the police department shall extend to all areas within city limits, upon all property owned, leased, or rented by the city, in all places involving fresh pursuit, and to all places as exigencies may require, as provided by municipal, statutory, or case law and public policy. That means that if you have to come onto our property, even though you might not own it, you have the legal right to do so because you're trying to apprehend a suspect or whatever. You have a valid reason to come onto our property, right? You are not allowed to just invade our property, our private space, whenever you want. That's specifically what that says. Okay, it says in here that you can also help the fire department, but we're not worried about that. Here's your oath specifically because it backs up what was said right here, where it says that you shall have the authority to enforce all laws and ordinances, whether federal, state, or local. So again, federal comes first because you work in the United States. Down here, upon issuance of a state of Colorado post certification, each officer of the police department shall take an oath to support the Constitution of the United States. See how that's first? You have to have that sworn into office, into the court system, right? It has to be the United States. If you don't have that, you are swearing to a third-party corporation and you broke the law. You have to swear to the United States, right? If your oath doesn't have the United States, but it has the state of Colorado and the charter of the Colorado Springs, well, guess what? You just violated your federal oath. It says, and to faithfully perform the duties and assignments of an officer of the police department. See that? But see how it says, you shall take an oath to support the Constitution of the United States, then the Constitution of the state of Colorado, then all of the city of Colorado Springs ordinances. So when I tell you that we had a list of crimes that we needed help with, that's why we called to have an officer speak with us, right? Your officer chose to deny us our rights and not help us because, again, they are legally bound because they collect pecuniary benefits right here, right? Right here. If they don't do that, right here, it says no uniform member of the police department. This includes you, Officer Shannon Snuggs, because you denied us our rights, right? So right here, you are guilty of either fraud, extortion, oppression, favoritism, or other wrongful conduct because, again, you are violating our rights. And so is every other officer that I've spoken with, except for the manager, supervisor in dispatch, the 7000 number, Manny. Manny was very professional. And Manny's, I have it all on record. I'm going to pull it up for you. Manny verified that you can, in fact, do what I need you to do, and you're choosing not to. So again, you get in trouble. No uniformed member of the police department shall neglect, which you did, or refuse to perform any duty required by the ordinances of the city. So that means that because you swore to federal, state, and local laws, you have to uphold and enforce all ordinances and laws. All of them. It says all. A-L-L. It doesn't say some. It doesn't say I get to pick and choose, right? No, because you're discriminating, right? That's a civil crime, but it's punishable as a felony and a misdemeanor. So again, you, Shannon Snuggs, you violated your oath. You, Officer Bornschein, you violated your oath. You, Dispatcher Andrew, you violated your oath. You all perjured. You all committed a whole bunch of crimes. That's why I'm upset, because I have proof that crimes were committed against us, not by CSPD, but by other people, and you are choosing not to help. If this cup came up, right? Whoever just threw it at me just committed assault and battery. Do you see how that works? If I call you, if I take my phone and I'm like, hey, can you come help? And you're like, no. Hit click and you hang up on me, you literally just violated 8.1.201 police officers' authority, specifically A, where it says you shall exercise law enforcement authority, right, to enforce all laws and or all ordinances and laws, whether federal, state, or local. See how you could stop it right here. Federal, period, right? That means you have to do federal, right? There's no state and local. It says federal, right? Period. See how federal is first? You have to uphold federal law. And you are clearly denying us those rights, stating that, oh, well, if you feel that way, you can go ahead and contact this person and this person for civil rights block. No, I know what I can do, and I know what I'm going to do. I know I'm literally going to be doing that. I'm also going to be contacting FBI as well. However, let's get back to the videos, because I just proved to you that not only do you have to do it according to this, but you have to do it according to this, and you have to do it according to this. Okay? So, okay, let's get back to the stuff. Hold on. All right, so since you want to go and deny SR rights, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the first part of the video, and we're going to
recording started.
The insane list of stuff that we're trying to get help with, and then your person violates our rights by violating 1987 Houston vs. Hill, where it states very specifically that you, law enforcement, are not allowed to interrupt us, that we can interrupt you all we want, but you specifically are not allowed to interrupt us. And if at any point in time during this recording you feel that you don't like my language, 1971 California versus Cohen, the Honorable Judge Harlan stated that one man's vulgarity is another man's lyric. So when I tell you, and you look me in the eyes when I say this, when I tell you specifically that you can suck a dick, right? For you violating our rights, yeah, right? Like, so again, you can go ahead and be offended, but again, you are violating our rights. The literal motto of the community is that you are going to safeguard us as a member of your family. So again, you are neglecting your family. When I have elderly people in a house, you're neglecting elderly people, right? Like, that's a crime. Elderly abuse. You can't do that, right? There's a college kid in the house, right, who's having her rights violated. You can't do that. That's specifically in 18.245 subsection B, subsection 2. That's one of the federally protected human rights, right? You're not allowed to mess with a college kid who's just trying to mind their own business, right? You're not allowed to harass people according to Colorado law. I gave you the codes for it. You don't want to do anything about it though. But you know, again, let's get back to the call. Hold on.
Recording started.
Yeah. Sorry, I was in the bathroom when you called this last time, so I'm pulling up my stuff on the computer. Also, notice how I'm talking with a nice even tone. Like, I'm not trying to escalate things at all. Like, I'm trying to be peaceful. I'm trying to get help. Okay? You and your officers escalate the issue for no reason, because you are ignorant of the law for one, but you've been trained to bully the public into giving up their rights, their federally protected, state protected, universally protected rights. That means no matter where we are in the world, the United Nations said that we have these 30 rights guaranteed to us. You violated them. So thank you for that. But that's why you are specifically held accountable, and you will be held accountable through civil suit. So 1 second, hold on. Let me get back to the video. This will be a good time. Hold on. Okay, cool. So I called earlier to see if I could get some help with an issue. I'm looking to press charges on these 7 people at least, and then I have a whole bunch of crimes that basically I pulled up code for that I would like to have help with. So there we go. Here's the brief summarization. Oh, and I'm going to start listing the crimes because, again, this is a brief summarization. I took 27 pages and I condensed it down to 5 pages, so that way we can talk about this quickly. But again, your officer denied us those rights, so that's why I'm upset. So, give me 1 second. Next part I'm going to show you is your officer, because after I went and I listed a whole bunch of federal codes and Colorado codes, the stuff that you're supposed to uphold, she did this, right? She very blatantly chose to deny us those protected rights that I mentioned, right? So hold on 1 second. Send us the letter in the first place. Legally, ethically, morally, they didn't have any right to send it to us. All right, so let me... Oh, and this is after we've already verified that the company representative that works for the offenders specifically stated multiple times and in multiple ways that we never committed a crime, that we never had a policy violation, and that we should not have gotten in trouble, and that it was the committee managers who were sending out the harassing letters. Go down. In Colorado, criminal extortion is a felony under CRS subsection 18-3-207. Classified as a Class 4 felony with a penalty of 2 to 6 years in prison and or a fine of... See, so real quick, right, before she interrupts me again and violates 1987 Houston v. Hill, where a police officer cannot interrupt us, right, and I already explained to you why, but very basically right here, hold on 1 sec, I gotta clear my throat. I'm listing a very specific Colorado revised statute, a CRS statute, right, like, that's what CRS is, Colorado revised statute. Okay, I'm giving her a code, a valid code in the state of Colorado, which is a crime. I just listed that crime. You just heard very blatantly that it was this. A penalty of 2 to 6 years in 8-3-207. Extortion is a felony under CRS subsection. A felony. I gotta pull up a document and show you what misprising a felony is, just so you're aware. Because not only did she commit police misconduct, but yeah, I'll show you. Hold on. 18-3-207, classified as a Class 4 felony with a penalty of 2 to 6 years in prison and or a fine of...
Malachi.
What? No, what's up?
So, yeah, so
that,
I let you talk for
I'm still,
30 minutes.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm still in the middle, and I'm not... See? For 30 minutes, I've been trying to submit a complaint for 30 minutes, right? My First Amendment right guarantees me the ability to be able to call and file a complaint. Now, just because my complaint has taken 30 minutes so far and is going to continue to take more time because I'm going to let her know that I still have other things I need to discuss, we've only touched up a few. There's like 8 more things that we need to talk about, right? Like actual valid criminal codes. But again, your person is going to deny us that because you specifically, Commander Snuggs, you've been in charge of training people since I think your profile on CSPD stated that, let's see, command staff, there you are right there. Oh, no, sorry. Right, there you are right there. Commander Shannon Snuggs, right? You were a training academy and staff instructor for 7 or 8 years between 2007 and 2014. And ever since then, you've been getting promoted and promoted and promoted, and you're in charge of training and hiring and disciplinary action. So again, when you don't want to do your job because it's going to make you look bad, because, you know, the people that I trained are doing stuff that's wrong, it's going to count as a bad mark against me and my department. I'm not going to do anything about it. You can't do that. You can't do that, okay? Officer Commander Shannon Snuggs, you violated your oath. You perjured your oath. You are now, well, according to federal and state law, you and the other offending officers, you basically lose your qualified immunity, and you no longer are protected, and you face charges, and not just civil charges, but criminal charges, mind you. So, thank you, Commander Shannon Snuggs, for violating our rights. But let's get back to this real quick. Done yet? Because I still have harassment, I still have assault, and I still have other stuff. But yeah, no, see how you...
But we're not getting anywhere.
We are, though, see, because I'm giving you actual criminal codes, and you should be taking notes and writing these down.
Okay, so here's what's happening. Okay. This whole situation is civil, okay?
No, it's not. No. Okay.
If you interrupt...
Notice how all of those codes were actual felonies and misdemeanors. They were not civil. They were civil and criminal. So, but she just heard that we have civil rights violations, and that's the only thing that she's banking on, is it's a civil issue, and I don't have to do my job because that's what you people are trained to do. Shame on you. But notice how she says, don't interrupt me when I'm talking. Again, and I'll remind you.
Again, this is not going to work out,
1987, Houston versus Hill. When I'm talking, I have the right to speak. You are not allowed to interrupt me. You interrupted me because you don't like the fact that I've been describing criminal codes for 30 minutes. That's specifically what you said. You're denying me, sir.
Me to talk
One more time. What's your name and badge number? What is your name and badge number? What is your name and badge number?
This is also something that I told her that I did not have written down and that I needed from her again earlier in the call. I don't remember if I showed you that, but it is in the first part of this phone call, the first 12 minutes of it.
Name and badge number now.
Conversation.
Name and badge.
Have the rest of your day. This is a civil situation.
Okay, I'm filing charges against you. Okay, yep. Okay.
So, yep. Again, you want to violate our rights. You want to go ahead and perjure the oath that you took, right? You are going to get in trouble right here. Colorado Springs Code of Ordinances 8.1. You are, as a peace officer, shall exercise law enforcement authority as given to peace officers, right, to enforce all ordinances and laws, whether federal, state, or local, right? You don't get to pick and choose. Your oath of office very clearly states that upon issuance of a state Colorado Post certification, that you take an oath to support the Constitution of the United States first and foremost. Then, after that, the Constitution of the State of Colorado. Then, after the state, the United States and the State of Colorado. Then, finally, it's the Charter of the City of Colorado Springs. So, again, you are not allowed to replace or supersede. That's what supersede means, to take place of federal law. No, federal law stands above all else. You violated federal law, therefore you lose qualified immunity. You will be getting charges pressed against you, and you will also lose your title with the police department because of your crimes committed against us. Now, let me pull up that other thing for you before I get Manny on the phone. 1 second, hold on. Okay, so here's the document that I sent to you. I let you know that before reading this, please be advised that we invoke all of our rights, and then you violated our rights, and we let you know that we will hold you accountable to the notice to all public officials. There's our fee schedule. So you are well aware that you're going to be getting charged no less than 20 ounces of .999 gold or its equivalent per violation of any of my unalienable rights under any and all circumstances. Included in these rights hereby claimed are my right to make use of roads, buses, train, and air stations, including any port or entry near or off the water or any port recognized by the United States Postal Service. The right to contract, conduct, engage in trade, and habitation peacefully, right? My time is also precious, as is my right to travel. Should I be held against my will for any amount of time that is unnecessary, in example, 1 minute longer than is necessary, I will charge the same fee schedule as if my rights were violated. Now, that means that ever since October 10th, we are now, let's see, October 24th. That's 14 days, 2 weeks, where you have literally denied me and my family our federally protected, state protected, constitutionally protected rights and our universally protected human rights, guaranteed to us by the United Nations since 1940s. Okay, 1948 specifically, I think is what it was. Okay, I'll show that to you real quick because I don't remember if I did that in the last video. Sorry, 1 second. I'm going to start from the bottom real quick because I want to show you that these human rights can't be taken away. Nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group, or person, that means you, Colorado Springs Police Department, or you, Commander Shannon Snuggs, any person, any right to engage in any activity or to perform any act aimed at the destruction of any of the rights and freedoms set forth herein. So that means that you specifically violated this rights when you chose to deny us our rights. So let's see specifically what you did. Okay, when you guys want to interrupt us, that's 16 and 17 down here, right? You are violating our rights of freedom of thought and religion because I shit you not, like my family, quite literally for several thousands of years, like I have all of it documented, right? Like this face literally pops up in history all over because that's how strong my family's genetics are, right? So I can prove everything I'm saying. I can prove that we come from a long line of lawmen and army officers and, right, like people who are loyal to king and country, lawyers and clergymen, right? Like those are our people. We protect others. We go out of our way to make sure that others are kept safe. That's been our whole lineage for thousands of years. So when you want to go and you want to lie and you want to not uphold the law, like again, that's basically my second religion. You're denying us that right, but you're also denying us our freedom of thought. Every time that you want to interrupt us, right? Every time you want to violate the 1987 Houston versus Hill Supreme Court decision because you think that you are above the law, you're violating our right, freedom of thought and religion, and our freedom of opinion and expression. Very, very, very basically. But along with the number 30, which these human rights can't be taken away, see how it says subject to law? Everyone has duties to the community in which alone the free and full development of his personality is possible. In the exercise of his rights and freedoms, everyone shall be subject only to such limitations as are determined by law, solely for the purpose of securing due recognition and respect for the rights and freedoms of others and of meeting the just requirements of morality, public order, and the general welfare in a democratic society. What that means is that everyone has a duty. You, law enforcement, are there to enforce the laws. So when I come to you for help, you are denying me those rights. When I'm in the exercise of my rights and freedoms, you cannot, right? We're only subject to limitations as they're prescribed by law. So that means that there has to be a valid reason for you to stop me and for you to prevent me from doing what I'm doing, right? You can't do that, right? When I'm trying to reach out to you for help, that's another thing up here, very specifically, that is guaranteed to us. Right to be treated fair by court. You denied us our due process. You're denying us our right to even get to court. Our right to equality before law, because again, all are equal before law and all are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. So when I shit you not, you have literally hung up on us at least no less than 4 different times while we were trying to exercise our federally protected rights. Those are 4 separate crimes that you've committed against us, right? Same right to use law. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. When you deny us our right to use the law, right? When you hang up on us, when you don't even allow us the ability to speak to an officer, to access help, you are denying us this very basic right. When we pay your taxes and we pay your pecuniary benefits, so your paycheck, your 401k, your pension, all that stuff, right? And you do not do the job that you are prescribed to do, right? Like, we are literally being stolen from. Like, we are not slaves. You do not get to tell us what to do. It's the other way around. You signed up for the job. We are your bosses. We get to call and tell you what to do. When you deny us that right, you are treating us like a slave. And I will not be held in slavery or servitude to anyone, to any person or organization. And the inhuman treatment aspect comes into it, because inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment, when I have the legal right to come to you for help and you deny us that right, that is literally cruel treatment. That is inhuman treatment. That is degrading treatment. When you want to misuse your public office, because that's literally one of the crimes that you've committed, is when you do that, that's another instance of officer misconduct. Let's go look at that form, actually. Hold on, let me pull that up real quick, because it's over here, because it's included in my write-up for second phone call with CSPD. See how it's a 34-page document that I sent to you? That's the one that you decided you weren't going to look through. So let's go ahead and scroll down real quick, okay? Because yours is actually all the way down here at the bottom. Right? Let's see where this is at. Let's see where we're going with this. Hold on. Because remember how that one very specific thing, the extortion coercion, that's a felony in Colorado? What happens if you don't report a felony? Do you know? Because I know. It's called misprision. Actually, let me, hold on, wait. Control, find, M-I-S-P-R, misprision. I should be able to find, yeah, there we go. Number 2. So this is just the second thing that your person did. Because not only with number 1 did they obstruct justice, but in Colorado, right, like, see, they violated 18 U.S. Code 1501, shall be fined $50,000, imprisoned not more than 5 years, or if the offense involves international or domestic terrorism, as defined in Section 2331, imprisoned not more than 8 years, or both. See how this is a criminal code? Right? If the officer's failure to report is part of an attempt to prevent investigation or prosecution of a crime, that is quite literally exactly what she did when she denied us our rights. That's why she gets charged for this. This is one singular crime that she committed against us. See what happens when a police officer commits obstruction of justice? You could be charged under CRS 18-8-104, which is a separate crime, which is defined as knowingly obstructing, impairing, or hindering the law enforcement of a penal law or the preservation of the peace. Remember how I pulled this up for you? Remember right here how it states that your oath of office states that you have to faithfully perform the duties and assignments of an officer of the police department, and your oath states that you swore to the Constitution of United States, and then the state of Colorado, and then the city of Colorado Springs. See how it says that you have the authority to enforce all ordinances and laws, whether federal state, or local, right here. See that right there? See that right there? But you denied us that right. So that's why you get in trouble. You are also held 100% accountable to this. Down further, 18-18-104. Okay, so that's literally what I just described. And then 18-8-102, obstructing government operations. This is a separate crime. This addresses intentionally impairing a government function. So again, when I tell you that our basic human rights, this is a basic government function, this is what it protects all of us, was denied, right? You are now guilty of that right there, because you have impaired a government function, which is a broader category that could include actions taken by an officer to obstruct another officer's duties. So when you and your dispatch will not allow me to speak to people, when your officer wants to go and hang up the phone and not even start the investigation, right? When you're going to impede other officers from helping, right? Like, you are obstructing justice, right? Deliberately lying to investigators or providing false information to disrupt an investigation. So again, your lack of anything qualifies under this. Using or threatening to use a physical obstacle to impede law enforcement actions. You literally, hi, I'm calling for help. No, I don't want to speak to you. Click. That is a physical impediment. That's like if I was at a Burger King and somebody took my phone and hid it behind the counter and walked out the back door. They're impeding me with a physical counter, right? Same exact thing. I'm trying to get something done and you stopped me from that. I'm pretty sure I had to look this up because a felony was committed against us in public storage 2 years ago, which you and your office did not want to help us with. I have all of that on video, actually. I'll make another video about that. But again, you people, pattern and practice. It's not just one person, it's everybody. Number 2, misprision of felony. Here we go. Under federal law, which you are required to uphold, 18 U.S. Code, subsection 4, misprision of felony occurs when someone has knowledge of the actual commission of a felony and actively conceals it, failing to report it to the authorities. So again, when I tell you that a police officer failed to report it to the proper authorities, the system, she didn't want to do anything. She hung up because we were wasting her time, all right? Our time is not as important as her time. We are paying for her time. My taxes pay for her paycheck. My taxes pay for her insurance. My taxes pay for her 401k. She loses all of that now because of the violations of this right here. Under federal law, misprision of felony occurs to someone when someone has knowledge of the actual commission of a felony and actively conceals it, failing to report it to the proper authorities. While simply not reporting isn't always enough, if the officer took actions to hide the felony and to hide the crime, it could be a factor. So again, your non-reporting is covered by that specifically. In federal law, 18 U.S. Code subsection 4 classifies misprision of felony as an actual felony and not a misdemeanor. So again, your officer committed a felony. Federal law sets the maximum fine at $250,000 for felonies and can result in imprisonment for up to 3 years. So that means just to the state of Colorado, your officer has to pay $250,000 and go to jail for 3 years. I also get punitive damages because of your willful and intentional act committed not only by Officer Bornschein right here, but also by Officer Dispatcher Andrew 5790. So again, multiple people. Oh, and now you, Shannon Snuggs, because you don't want to do the investigation. You want to lie through your teeth and say nothing happened. No, again, I have evidence of all of it, and I'm showing it to you now. Right? One thing I need to point out is that in Colorado, there's what's known as a habitual offender statute that can lead to harsher penalties, meaning that even though most of the civil rights violations by themselves are only misdemeanors, the fact that there are 27 separate violations turns them all into felony charges. Failure to report the crimes has now led to no less than 27 separate felonies. Then there is the fact that each of those 27 violations happen to us not just once, but upwards of 4 times, causing even more felonies to go unreported. I will be asking for $250,000 punitive damages per charge because, again, that is our legal right. You are law enforcement. You uphold the law or you lose your job and get in trouble for that. That is literally how the law works. Okay? You are also guilty of accessory after the fact. There's multiple codes in there. Right? You're guilty of misconduct of a public officer. There's multiple codes in there. right? You're guilty of violation of civil rights. So, and again, I'm putting Idaho, Colorado, and federal code in here because you violated all of it. And you might go and say, oh, well, we're in Colorado. We don't have to go to federal law. No, again, it's all in the document that I sent you. Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution states very specifically that when we are traveling, we are protected not only by the state that we live in, but by the states that we are traveling to. And we are to be treated as a citizen and not an unfair alien. However, when I pull out my ID and it states that Idaho, right, like you were voluntarily violating the rights of an Idahoan, now I can go to the police over here and I can be like, look at these assholes in Colorado, go get them. And they would have to legally follow suit because, well, civil rights violations. So, again, I'm protected in more ways than one, and I let you all know about it, and you voluntarily violated our rights. You cannot claim ignorance. Even if you were ignorant of the law, the old Latin term, it literally translates into ignorance does not excuse. Right? Ignorance of the law does not excuse. You cannot go and say, oh, I didn't know that. I told you multiple times. And even if I didn't tell you, it's your job to know. You're paid to uphold the laws. If you don't know what laws to uphold, well, you can't do your job. You don't deserve to be on the job. But anyways, right here. Number 6, dereliction of duty or police misconduct, right? Again, I have all kinds of criminal codes that you guys are involved with. Over here, obstruction of government operations. Again, knowingly impairing or hindering a public servant with the use of or threatened use of force or physical interference. So when you hang up on us in when we're conducting a federally protected activity and we're reaching out to you for help, that's physical interference. See, abuse of public office. When you are paid to do something by our taxes and you choose not to, right, you receive pecuniary benefits and then say, we're not going to do the job. An officer who knowingly performs an act in their official capacity that is unlawful or commits an unauthorized act in their official capacity. That's what abuse of public office is. That's why you get in trouble. Because when you swear an oath to uphold federal, state, and Colorado Springs laws, and you fail to do that, well, you just violated your oath. You violated 8.1.201, you violated 8.1.202, and 8.1.203. Those are 3 separate violations, mind you. Those are 3 separate crimes. So again, let me stop all this and let's go talk to Manny real quick. Hold on. Okay, real quick. We're speaking to Manny.
Dispatch, this is Manny speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, Manny. Are you the supervisor by chance?
Yes, sir, I am.
Cool. Can I get your badge number real quick?
And again, just mind my tone, mind my, right? Like, I'm not being rude, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm literally trying to reach out for help. Like, there's no need for me to be rude and disrespectful until you people start violating our rights. Just make that 100% clear in your head. We do not break the law. We do not violate the rights of others. We uphold the law, and we will fully stand on our rights if our rights are denied and violated. So, just so you are aware, mind my tone.
2940.
You're awesome. Okay. Sorry. So, just quick story, because this has been an issue I've been trying to take care of for the last few months. We have been...
Right, so I explained the issue to him. I got to go into the 3rd video because it's a long explanation. 1 second, hold on. Okay, real quick. I'm going to give him a brief explanation of how I spoke with 2 previous dispatch agents last night who told me to call the Gold Hill subdivision and ask for a duty sergeant, and I gave him the gist of it. So here we go.
The fact that I need to speak with an actual duty sergeant or higher because I have valid criminal codes that I have to get taken care of. You people are denying us due process and a whole bunch of other rights. You guys are denying us the fact that this is supposed to be taken care of, right? Like, I need help. Harm was caused before your officers got involved. Even more harm has been caused now after your officers got involved because your officers are ignorant of the law. But again, I verified with 2 different people last night, aside from my general knowledge already, that I needed to speak with a subdivision, and then the subdivision puts me through to the duty sergeant or higher, and I got denied. So I can no longer contact the 2100 Gold Hill subdivision. I need your help for a workaround because I don't know any other phone numbers to any other subdivisions, and like I said, like my family who used to do this, they're dead now, right? Like the three of them who were attorneys and or police officers, like they passed, right? So
Okay.
I can't.
So what I can do for you, sir, is I have your name here, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your first name, Maliki?
Yeah, Maliki. Yes, sir. That's right.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Cortez. And the phone number you're calling me from, 719-217-3823?
Yes, that's a good
Okay.
number. Yep.
What I'm going to do, sir, is I'm going to reach out myself to one of the sergeants, and I'm going to have him call you.
Thank you. I appreciate that
Okay.
very, very much. Thank you so much.
And then as far as contacting Internal Affairs, if you'd like to do so, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
But when you speak to the sergeant, he's going to be able to do the same thing pretty much that Internal Affairs could do for you. But again, if you're not happy with the sergeant's response, you can always reach out to Internal Affairs. That is your right.
Yeah, no. Like I said, that's a Monday thing. If the sergeant will take care of it, that's cool because I know he has the capacity to do so. He's not bound by his rank. There's actual laws that allow him to go after other bad cops. But no, I understand that. That'll be a Monday issue. I don't need help with that.
Okay.
I need
Understood.
the initial, like, other crimes taken care of. Because aside from breach of the peace, there's harassment, there's stalking, there's assault, there's coercion, extortion, right? Like, there's other valid crimes. And like I said, Officer Bornschein was very valid that I'm hanging up, goodbye, click. And she stalled everything. So I shouldn't be having this conversation with you. I'm very sorry about that. Like, it should have been handled last
And
night.
that's quite all right, sir. I'm here to help you any way I can. So, like I said, I'm going to reach out to that sergeant, and I'm going to give him your information. Before that sergeant calls you, I'm going to call you back myself to let you know which sergeant I spoke with, and that they'll be reaching out to you when they get a chance, okay?
And that's exactly what he did. 1 second, I need to chart. Okay, next video.
Recording started.
Hello, can I ask who I'm speaking with? Ooh, puppy, you okay?
Mr. Cortez, this is Manny again.
Oh, hi.
Hey, so I did get a hold of a sergeant. He's going to reach out to you in a little bit. It's going to be Sergeant McCafferty.
Okay. Awesome.
And he's got some administrative tasks to do with the oncoming ship that's coming on. But as soon as he does get a chance to call you, he will reach out to you.
Okay, no, that's fine. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Manny.
No problem. You have a good day, sir. Good luck to you.
You as well. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And so, see how that was 13 days ago? I still have not spoken with Sergeant McCafferty because, again, you people don't want to do your job. You people don't know how to do your job. You people swore an oath to do something. You're going to take our money because you swore this oath, and right, but you're not going to do the job. No, you can't do that. So as you can see, I've run out of recording space, but I've proven to you that you and your office are, aside from Manny. Manny was amazing. Manny's the only bright light in this entire thing. Him and the guy that I spoke with before who transferred me to Manny, they were extremely professional. They do not in any way, shape, or form deserve to be getting in trouble at all. Everybody else, every other phone call right here, look at this right here. See this right here? Recent contact. All these are, hold on, oh, this is the wrong phone. Hold on, 1 sec. This is my old phone. The actual phone call is right here. So today, Colorado Springs, City of Colorado Springs, I missed it because we're dealing with wedding stuff here. So when you called, again, we were delayed with wedding stuff. Yesterday, I made a phone call at 9:30 in the morning. Let's see. Wednesday, October 22nd, I had to reach out 5 times, got no help. Let's see. Friday before that, oops. Oh shoot, I pulled up text messages somehow. Friday before that, once at 1:05 p.m. Right, let's see. Before that, Monday, I spoke with Internal Affairs, October 13th. Right, and they're like, oh, well, let's see. And then October 11th, there's 1, 5, 6, 7 times I had to reach out for help. And again, that's because Andrew with dispatch kept hanging up on me and denying me my rights and transferring me to an area that's closed for the weekend. Internal Affairs does not work on the weekend. You know that. I know that. I told you they're closed. Please don't transfer me anymore. I need to speak to a duty sergeant. I stated that 4 or 5 times, and you denied me every single time. You hung up on me twice, and then the third time I tried to call back in, you blocked my phone number, and now I can't even contact the dispatch anymore. So thank you for violating my rights. But then there's October 10th, when I tried to reach out initially, we called at 11:16 a.m. and my final call that night was a 10-minute phone call at 8:41 p.m. Right? So over 9.5 hours you wasted of our day. Right? When I make $35 an hour and I can't make that, right? You have caused financial harm. You get in trouble for that. In Colorado, we get trouble damages, right? See, but unless you know the law, you're not going to be aware of that. So because you have specifically caused a lack of help, you get in trouble for all of this. All those crimes I listed, you get in trouble for. Every single one of those crimes that I listed originally, you get in trouble for. So I'm going to call you now because I need to, yeah, 1 second.